Hey friends, let's get moving. To start out, I want you to just take a nice stretch that feels good, whatever stretch that might be. So for me, I think a side stretch might feel nice today. For you, it might be some kind of a back bend. It might be a forward bend, reaching down for the floor. Take another 5 seconds to just move and stretch in a way that feels nice for your body today. 4, 3, 2, and 1. Great. Okay, lift your arms up. As the arms go up, the ribs stay in that neutral dropped position, and then bend your elbows to 90 degrees. So we're here in a cactus arm position. Now, if you pay attention to your shoulder blades, you want to try to draw the shoulder blades down the back, slide them into your back pockets, okay, and firm the bottom tip of the shoulder blade into your back. And now here, we're gonna keep the right arm as it is, but we're gonna invert the left arm. So keep your upper arm at the same height and just rotate at the upper arm to point the fingertips down, and then come back to starting. So left arm stays put. Now we're gonna go over to the right arm. The upper arm again stays at the same level, and we're just rotating the fingers down towards the ground. Good, and we're just gonna alternate from side to side, waking up the shoulders a little bit, noticing the range of motion that you have on each side, and really committing to keeping the upper arms in that same position. So if you bring your elbow down lower than your shoulder, that's gonna be a little bit of a cheat. Keep going. Maybe starting to feel things heating up. And again, we're keeping the shoulder blades firmed into the back, tucked down away from the ears. Mine were starting to creep up a little bit. I don't know about you. Let's do 2 more each way. One more each way. Committing to the shoulder blades, moving away from the ears. Last one. Great, and go ahead and release your arms down by your sides. Circle out your shoulders. Woo. Go in both directions. Now, take your feet wider than your hips, and you can turn your toes out if you want, or you can keep them pointed straight ahead. Doesn't really matter. Take your arms out, wrists at shoulder height, and then rotate so that your palms face up. Your palms and your elbow creases face up towards the ceiling. And you're gonna pretend like you have like a pizza in each hand, and we're gonna slide the pizza over to the right. We're offering this right-handed pizza to this table over here, and then we're gonna slide to the left and offer the pizza over there to the left. So we're just gonna go back and forth here. And so this action is coming from the rib cage, sliding from side to side. So if we do a side bend, that pizza's going on the ground, right? We don't want to waste a pizza. That doesn't feel like it would be appropriate. So we're just sliding the ribs from side to side, keeping our pizzas getting offered here to the left and right. And again, we're just noticing, can I go farther on one side than the other? Does one side feel freer than the other? Just paying attention. Maybe starting to feel like those pizzas are getting a little bit heavier. If your arms are starting to droop down, recommit to keeping those pizzas level. Don't let those pizzas fall on the ground. And, you know, if pizza doesn't feel like a really valuable food to you, you can choose something different. Maybe it's cake. Maybe it's saag paneer. I don't know what it is. Just choose something that you don't want to drop on the ground. Just one more each way. So let's reach to the left and reach to the right. Keep your pizzas up, come back to center, and now try to take those pizzas as far back behind you as you can without lifting up through the chest. So keep the rib cage nice and mellow. Just take the arms back. Whew, for 3, 2, and 1. Drop the pizza. Go ahead and shake out your arms. Shake out your shoulders. Let's turn sideways and pay attention to our legs for a moment. So stand with your feet hip bone distance apart. So that's hip bone, not hip flesh. And you want your feet parallel. And then you're just gonna take your right foot straight back, and we're gonna come into a lunge, but maybe a shorter stance to your lunge, because we're gonna have a slight bend in that back knee. So, there's a range of variations here. You can have a slight bend in the back knee. You can have a deeper bend in the back knee. And so you can choose, find what's kind for your body today. But wherever you are, let's go ahead and thread the tailbone through the navel. So that's kind of a fancy way of saying, let's have a little tuck under in the tailbone. And as you do that, see if you can feel, maybe there's a little increase in the sensation in the front of that right thigh and hip. Okay, I'm gonna take my hands out in front because it helps me balance here. So here we go. We're gonna engage on the outer left hip. Take a breath in, and as you exhale, come up to balance on the left foot. And so from here, you're gonna take your right knee in a big circle out to the side and back behind you as far as it can go. And then that right foot's gonna float back down to the ground. We're coming back to our lunge. Remember, we're trying to thread the tailbone through the navel, and take a breath in. As you exhale, engaging the outer left hip, come up to balance. And then again, we're gonna take the right leg out and back, really waking up that range of motion in the hip. So we're moving slow and controlled here. Of course, if balance is an issue, you can practice this next to a wall, or have a chair next to you, and you can balance, use that chair there for your hands to help you balance. Exhaling to come up to stand. Gracefully floating that back foot down. Last one. And then on this last one, just let your right foot find the ground under the right hip. Relax your arms, take a full breath in and out. Notice how your hips feel different. Okay, now starting with the feet hip bone distance apart, you're gonna take that left foot and draw a straight line back. Again, maybe a shorter lunge than you're used to. And then you choose how much you want to bend the back knee. It might be a slight bend, it might be a deeper bend. Wherever you are, then you're gonna thread your tailbone up through your navel. And as you do that, feeling maybe a little bit more sensation on the front of the left hip and thigh. Okay, so I'm gonna take my hands out in front of me to help with my balance, and I'm already starting to push through this front right foot to feel this outer right hip wake up to help me come to stand in a stable way. So take a breath in and exhale to stand, balancing on the right foot, and then the left knee is gonna come out to the side, back behind you, and it's gonna extend out, coming back to your lunge. Thread the tailbone through the navel, take a breath in, pressing through the right foot already, exhale to stand. Now, as your left leg is circling, be mindful of how much that movement, or if it displaces your torso. Try to keep your torso in the same place so that the movement is really coming from the hip and not some other part of your body getting moved as a result. You saw I had to, lost my balance there. You saw I had to do a little kickstand to get up that time. That is totally fine to make the movement a little bit smaller. Reaching back, landing gracefully. Moving slow and controlled. Last one. Oh, and then set your left foot back up at the front. I was ready to go again. Okay, shake it out. Take a full breath in and out. Okay, let's bend the knees a lot to get the hands down to the ground. As much as you need to get the hands down to the ground, and then we'll come into all fours. Spread your fingers wide so you can see the color of the mat in between each finger, and rotate your upper arms so that your elbow creases point forward, same direction as your fingers. As always, if your wrists are bothering you, you can come up onto your fists instead. So let's do a few rhomboid push-ups here. We're gonna take a breath in and squeeze the shoulder blades towards one another on the back. And then as we exhale, push through the hands and let the shoulder blades move far, far, far apart. Inhale, the rib cage stays pretty mellow here. And exhale, press through the hands. Now, as you're moving the shoulder blades in and out, try to keep your neck soft and try to keep your shoulders away from your ears. Just one more here. Okay, and we're gonna pause here with the push. So push through your hands. Really feel your shoulder blades move as far apart as possible. Keep your elbow creases pointing forward. See if you can get the shoulder blades any further apart on the back. Push, push, push through the hands for 3, 2, and 1. Relax. Let's take a break from the hands. Shift your weight back towards your feet. Curl your toes under and set your hips back towards your heels. Now, wherever you are, however close to your heels your hips get, let's go ahead and push the toes into the ground. So depending on the mobility of your foot and the shape of your foot, it could just be mostly like your big toe and second toe on the ground. You might have your pinky toe on the ground as well. Whatever toes are on the ground, just push back into the ground. So you're kind of offering some resistance there and getting an active stretch for the toes. See if you can tune in and selectively do that active stretch with individual toes. So can you press more through your big toes? Can you press more through your second toe? Can you find your third toe? Can you find your fourth toe? Can you find your pinky toe? Great. That's like a mental movement. You have to move your mind. Okay, now let's come up back onto the hands. You can also choose fists or forearms. It's your choice. So we're gonna come into a plank position. So you can start by taking your knees back, and that's one variation, so that your knees are behind your pelvis. Or you can curl your toes under and lift your knees up, coming into a high plank. Whichever position you're choosing, push through your hands and get your shoulder blades apart, elbow creases forward. Now, keeping up with slow and controlled as the name of the game, we're gonna bring one knee up to same side elbow and take it back, and then the other knee up to same side elbow and take it back. So maybe your knees can touch your elbows. Maybe they make it, maybe they don't. Find what's kind. Keep pushing the shoulder blades apart. Keep breathing. Can you feel the shake? How does the shake affect your breath? For 3, 2, and 1. Drop your knees, and again, curl your toes under and shift your hips back towards your heels. Taking some weight off of your wrists. Press through your toes. Find your breath. Great. Okay, so from here, go ahead and lift up onto your knees in a high kneeling position. I'm going to turn sideways because I like to keep my hands and arms on the mat at all times when possible. So we're still in all fours here for a moment. And from here, you're going to take your left leg, pick it up, and take your left knee out to the side in like a fire hydrant position. And then moving again, slow and controlled is the name of the game. Extend your left leg straight and put your left foot on the ground. Take a breath in, and as you exhale, lift your torso up away from the ground. Encourage your left hip to drop towards the ground. Now, from here, let's go ahead and bring your left hand behind your head, okay? And we're gonna be reaching with the right fingertips. So take a breath in, long spine, press your head back, and then as you exhale, reach for the ground, any amount on the right side. Inhale, come up, and exhale, reach down for the ground, and come up. Keep going. And so some variations to play with here. You can play around with how far away you reach for the ground. So your hand might slide down your outer right thigh to the ground and slide back up. Or you might reach a little bit forward. You might reach a lot forward. Slow and controlled is the name of the game. So find what's kind and play around here, seeing how your waist can help you reach down and come back up. Just try one more. Now this time, we're gonna go all the way down. You're gonna put your right hand on the ground underneath your right shoulder. You can free up your left hand, take a swoop, swoop your left arm and align with your ear. And as you're breathing here, experience how the ribs expand and narrow as a result of that breath. Now, we're gonna get ready for a little bit of a balance challenge. So you can keep your arm extended, left arm extended, or if you wanna kind of bring yourself in and be a little bit more compact, you can put your left hand on your hip. Okay, so push down into your left foot. See if you can hover your right knee above the ground. Cool. Put your right knee down. And now this time we're gonna step into a side plank. So press down into your left foot and lift your right knee up. And for your side plank, you can do your feet kind of staggered. So right foot would be in front of left foot, or you can stack your feet on top of each other. Your choice, whatever feels better. So now dip your hips down towards the ground. Any amount, inhale. And as you exhale, lift the hips back up. Inhale to dip, exhale back up to side plank. You can bring your arm to, you can inhale down with your left hand on your side, and then as you exhale, it's getting harder. Your arm can come and align with your ear. One more. Great job. Okay, stagger your feet again. And now bring your left hand to your hip, bring your right knee back underneath you. Woo, mercy. And then let's crawl around into kind of an all fours, but keep your left leg extended because now we're gonna pick the left foot up, bend the left knee, fire hydrant, and come back to all fours. If you need to get off of your hands for a moment, do so. You can shake out your wrists. If you're taking a little break between sides, it's always nice to breathe and pay attention and notice what your body's feeling. So let's go ahead and do the other side. Coming back to all fours, pick up your right knee and swing it out to the side, slow and controlled, fire hydrant. Extend your right leg straight and then place your right foot on the ground. Take a breath in, and as you exhale, lift your torso up away from the ground. Okay, so encourage your right hip to drop towards the ground, any amount, okay? Now, right hand's gonna come behind the head, and so you're gonna remember to keep the ribs mellow, but then you have this nice place to rest your head back, okay? The left hand can slide down the outer seam of the pants to the ground and slide back up. Okay, you can try it like that. You can also try reaching a little bit further away from the body. You can try reaching quite a bit further away from the body. Play around. See what works for you. And if this is something that has you feeling like, Jen, I don't understand what we're doing here. This doesn't feel like much. I want more of a challenge. Cool. You can grab something heavy to hold in your left hand. Maybe you start off with like a can of soup or a full water bottle. Or if you have hand weights at home, you can always try using a hand weight also, and that'll make it a little bit more challenging. So this time, let's go ahead and bring the left hand down so that it comes underneath the left shoulder. And you can take your right arm and swoop it in line with your ear. Let's pause here for some nice rib expanding breaths. Okay, I'm gonna bring my right hand to my hip because that feels like a little bit nicer for my shoulder right now. Push down into your right foot and see if you can hover your left knee. Cool. Okay, put your knee down and let's do it again, but this time we're gonna step the left foot into that side plank position. Okay, so again, you might have your feet staggered, one in front of the other, or you can have your feet stacked. Your choice. So here we go. We're gonna dip the left hip, woo, down towards the ground. Take a breath in, and as you exhale, whoosh, back up to side plank. Here we go again. And remember, there's a lot of real estate here between your hip and the ground. So you might be dipping just a little bit. Or you might be going all the way across town to the ground. Or somewhere in between. One more. Great. Stagger your feet again. Left foot forward, okay? Now we're gonna bring the left knee back underneath the body. And we're gonna crawl the hands back forward into our all fours position. Okay, let's get ready to lift the right foot up. So take a breath in, exhale, go. Lift the right leg up, bend at the knee for fire hydrant, and bring the knee back underneath the hip in all fours. Woo. Great job. Get off your hands, shake out your wrists if you need to, and let's make our way down to the back. So here we go. When you get down to the back, just like say thank you to the ground for being there to support you. Give it a big, generous breath. Great. Okay, here we go. Tuning in to a little bit of core work. So as always, there's variations, there's levels. So we're gonna start by keeping the right side stationary and doing movement with the left side. So one variation is to keep your knee bent, your foot on the ground, and just rest your right hand kind of up towards your upper thigh. Okay, so that's one option. And another option is to have the legs up and then your hand would be a little bit higher up towards the knee. So whichever variation you're choosing, there is some resistance here. So you're pressing your hand into your thigh and your thigh is pressing back into your hand, okay? So whether or not you're doing feet on the ground or feet in the air, go ahead and then extend your left foot up towards the ceiling and your left hand up towards the ceiling. So we're doing same side here. So you're gonna inhale. I just exhaled, but you're gonna inhale and then you're gonna exhale to bring the leg and arm back up. So inhaling to extend and exhale to bring arm and leg back up. So if your right foot's still on the ground, it's gonna look like this. Keeping the right foot on the ground is gonna give your body a little bit more external stability, whereas keeping your foot up in the air is gonna require your body to provide that stability for itself. Last one. Great. Okay, go ahead and take your left leg out straight on the ground. And now, even if you started with your right foot on the ground, you're gonna wanna bring your right foot up, but you can stop with the pushing with your hand. You take your left hand to the outside of your right leg, and we're gonna guide the right leg over as far as it'll go first. So notice I didn't immediately roll over, okay? We're just taking the right thigh bone and the right knee over to the left any amount. So if you feel a nice stretch in your outer hip here, take a breath, sink into it. If you don't, or after you have taken your breath and sunk into that stretch, now we're gonna let that right hip pick up as we roll towards a twist. Okay, so from here, clap your hands together, extend your arms straight, and now the right arm is gonna trace a clock circle here. As you take your arm back behind you, you're gonna open your chest towards the ceiling, and then the arm's gonna come down and back to meet the left hand. And as that happens, the shoulders close off again. So just circling through the arm and allowing the spine to rotate, the shoulders to rotate open as you go. And on this last one, let's linger in that open position. So your right arm, maybe you're feeling some stretch in the right arm or the right front chest, and let's just wiggle around in that range of motion a little bit more. So you're gonna sway your right arm up towards your head and down towards your feet in that place, within that place of kind of maximum stretch sensation. Great, and then let's go ahead and bring it back around, closing off. Take a breath in and out. Okay, and so from here, we're gonna roll back onto our back. Get your hips organized. Okay, and we're gonna come back to that core work on the other side. So you can keep your feet on the ground, or you can lift your legs up in the air, your choice. Remember, your left hand is going to press into your left thigh, and your thigh is going to press back into your hand. So whether you're on the ground with your feet or you have your feet lifted in the air, it's going to be the same deal. Okay, now right leg and right arm point up towards the ceiling. Here we go. We're going to inhale and extend the arm and leg apart. And then as you exhale, come back to starting. Keep that active pressing through the left side. Inhale and exhale. So if you've got your left foot on the ground, it's going to look more like this. Let's keep going a few more rounds. Last one. Great. Okay, extend your right leg on the ground, and then let's go ahead and make sure that the left foot is lifted up off the ground, and we're going to use the right hand to guide the left knee towards the right, but not so far that we roll all the way over at this point. We're just maybe feeling around for if there's a possibility of a yummy stretch in the outer left hip here. And after you've acknowledged that, then we can continue to guide the left leg over into the twist. I had to move my microphone. So here we go, rolling over to the right side into our twist here. Now, you're gonna clap your hands together with extended arms, making sure I have enough room here. Okay, and then your left arm is gonna trace that big circle this time. As it comes behind you, the chest and shoulders open up towards the ceiling. And then as your arm moves back in front of your body, your chest and shoulders close back off. Enjoying the breath here, enjoying the stretch. Last one, and on this last one, let's linger back here in this open position and swivel your arm, sway your arm a little bit within that spot of maximum stretch, that feel good, yummy stretch spot. You're gonna take the arm higher up towards the head and then lower down towards the feet. Great, and then let's go ahead and finish up, close off, bring the hands back together, and then from here, let's go ahead and come back to the back, knees bent, feet on the ground. Get your hair organized, your wardrobe organized. Okay, and so from here, make sure that your fingertips can kiss the heels of your feet. Take a breath in, and as you exhale, lift your hips up towards the ceiling, coming into a bridge, and just hold it there for a moment. So as you're holding here, again, come back to that sensation of threading the tailbone through the navel, okay? And for me, when I think about it that way, it's a little bit more like I feel some low belly engagement when I think of it that way, as opposed to just thinking of tuck your tailbone under. So you can play around with how that cue feels for your body. Now, as you've got your tailbone threaded up through your navel, see if you can reach your knees further away from you, further away from your head. Feeling the legs get really solid here. Can you pick up your toes away from the ground? Maybe you can pick up the balls of your feet away from the ground and press through your heels to lift your hips any amount more for 3, 2, and one. Now we're gonna slowly roll down the spine all the way down to the ground. You can put your feet down all the way. Try articulating one vertebra at a time. And notice if there's segments of your spine that, or portions of your spine that feel difficult to segment. And so go as slowly as you can. For me, it's around the lower back, right before the pelvis. That's where I have a lot of trouble segmenting and articulating, which is normal based on the way that the spine is curved naturally. But it's always nice to feel that and be aware of what's happening in your own body. Going super duper slow. Once you've gotten every vertebra on the ground, and finally the back of the pelvis, go ahead and relax. Bring the soles of your feet together and your knees apart. Let's take a few relaxing breaths here. I like to put my hands on my belly so I can feel how it moves when I breathe. Take 3 more deep breaths. Maybe you make your exhales big size. Last one. Great, you can use your hands to help you bring your legs back together. And now if you would like to continue to rest, just go ahead and set a timer for yourself and lay there and enjoy your sloth-like nature. But if you are ready to move on, go ahead and roll over and sit up. I feel so good now. I hope you feel like you got some of your sticky parts moving and that you felt that slow burn heat from those really controlled movements that we did today. I'm so proud of you for taking the time for you. Thanks so much. I'll see you next time.